Asian Persuasion, a Hollywood rom-com that recently won the Audience Choice Award at the SOHO International Film Festival in New York, will hit local cinemas later this month. Here now with me is the film's director, who's also a Tony Award-winning producer, Jhett Tolentino, from New York to Manila. Direct Jhett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rico. It's my pleasure to be here for the first time.
Wow, indeed, a wonderful recognition. What does this victory mean for you, being a producer and the film?
Oh, it means a lot because I've had so many, I call them hardwares, but this is my first audience choice. So meaning that it's really the audience who chose us to be the best film. There were 125 films total that were programmed.
Highly competitive.
SOHO. Yeah. 8 were nominated, right? But we won the prize, so it's a big deal.
So is Asian Persuasion the next Crazy Rich Asians?
Wow.
Everyone talks about Crazy Rich Asians.
I know.
As the benchmark for Asian films.
Of course. It's like the start of the new renaissance for Asian films in Hollywood.
And we hope that it doesn't end there.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, no, the short answer is no. I'm going to do a different Philippine version of Crazy Rich Asian here in the Philippines soon. But Crazy Rich Asian is much lower budget than Crazy Rich Asian. I mean, Asian Persuasion.
But after this, we may see bigger budgets for Jhett Tolentino movies.
Yeah, I think so.
But what does it take to really produce a Filipino-American or an Asian film in America?
You know, Rico, there has been this, I think you have to identify for what is a Hollywood film, right? Because no matter how great our Filipino films are, they can't really be considered as Hollywood because they didn't go through a union, like SAG-AFTRA. Any union that a film could go through, that's a Hollywood film. So that's how I do it. Because if you're not through a union, your film will be like a B film. So to me, it's like a wasted effort because, you know, the preparation, the money, the talent is all there. So I'd rather do it the right way.
Correct.
Where the distributors would pay attention and look at your film because you went through the process.
And are we now in the beginning or in the middle of a new surge in Filipino films making it into mainstream platforms?
I think we're catching up. I think we're still in the beginning. Because, you know, for the previous years, I mean, I did Lingua Franca, right? That was one of the 333 films in 2020 that were considered for Best Picture for the Oscars. And I signed the document to the Oscars because we were admitted. So that's a Filipino film.
Even though it's part of the 300 plus
33,
films,
right?
It was part of a bigger
Exactly. Only 10
list
got into
of
the
thousands.
nominations.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was the start, and then we had the Fabulous Filipino Brothers, and then of course Easter Sunday was last year, and we can't quite get there yet as to the rest of our other neighboring countries in Asia can do, right? Because they bring the big blockbuster.
So is it down to budget, Jhett, to be able to come up with a blockbuster film? Because of course the Koreans have already won a Best Picture in the Oscars.
And they have another one running this year, mark my words. Past Lives is amazing. That's my contender for the Oscars. Anyways, the short answer is yes. During the pandemic, I researched the top 30 highest grossing or most successful independent films. Their average budget is $16.5 million.
$16.5 million.
So in order to make money in Hollywood, you got to spend the money because you know you have to get the right equipment. Because like in Hollywood, in the first 5 minutes of watching your film, they will already know what kind of camera you used, what kind of lens you used. So you can't fool them.
So your equipment, the equipment that you used for Asian Persuasion was top caliber.
Yeah. Yep. What Hollywood dictates for an independent rom-com.
And that's what it will really take for Filipino American films or Filipino films for that matter to be able to leap to that next level.
Yes, because the Koreans, even the Thai, right? The Thai film, the Taiwanese films, they've been mad dashing for the past couple of years. getting there to Hollywood. And they've been successful. And I'm hoping that we could catch up because like we're like down beneath Cambodia at the moment. Yeah.
Beneath Cambodia?
Yeah, they got Angelina Jolie for the first
Because
Kill
one
My
of
Father.
why that connection between Angelina Jolie and Cambodia? Because she helps, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She has quite a number of advocacies in Cambodia.
Exactly, but just that, the country itself got her, right? Like for us, sometimes Hollywood films will just shoot here for a number of days,
Yeah.
but not really the entire film that was shot here. So that's...
So the bottom line is, films have to always have the best practices,
Yeah.
top caliber equipment, top caliber staff. We cannot cut corners.
No, and the mandate of like the crew, they cannot work more than 10 hours a day. And there is a certain amount of compensation, including benefits and fringes. You can't cut corners.
You filmed Asian Persuasion in New York.
Yeah.
Could you have done Asian Persuasion in the Philippines with a Filipino crew?
Yes, I could have. But the thing is, the story happened in New York City, so I can't cheat it. There's
course.
no Central Park here.
Yeah.
There's no snow here. There's no... Yeah.
You have the talent in the United States.
Yes.
Do we also have the talent here
Yes.
in the Philippines?
Yes, that's why I've been coming back. You know, my advocacy right now is like, I could have just stayed on Broadway. I've been thriving there.
Right.
I don't have to do films, but it's our artists actually who are messaging me, like, Jhett, please help us. How can we cross over? What can you do for us? So that's the particular call that really make me look at my career for the past decade, and now I really have to go for the Filipino
And we
artists.
need you here because you are transferring the technology that you've learned on Broadway,
Yeah.
the best practices in the United States, here in the Philippines. Because when you talk to some industry insiders, they would always say, oh, when they make films here, when they do teleseries here, they
Yeah.
cut a lot of corners.
I know. I'm not here to preach or to be professorial about this. Has been going on
But
since
to
the golden era of the
teach.
Filipino films. I'm trying to show something that
Educate.
what sells outside of the Philippines, because Philippines is this one tiny market in the world.
But are we listening? Are industry players here listening to what you're sharing with them?
Slowly.
Your knowledge.
Slowly, I meet them one at a time. I'm open. I'm waiting for invitations that I could, you know, whenever I could talk. I always share my knowledge. That's common. People know me about me.
We need more Jhett Tolentinos here in the country. So tell us about the movie. I'm sure this has been asked of you many times. How did you cast Casey Concepcion, Paulo Montalban, and Dante Basco?
My process kasi, when I'm reading a script, I always put on my producer hat, right? And then I already cast to eliminate the process of cost. You know, you gotta be fiduciary responsible in cost as a producer. So when I read the script, I was casting. And then
You already knew the people
Yeah.
for the roles.
Yeah, so out of the 28 principal cast, meaning 28 roles with speaking roles. Kasi in Hollywood film, kahit one line lang yan, you have to pay them minimum at least $700. Kahit one line lang. That's the process, right? So out of the 28 principal roles, I only gave my casting director 6 to audition. The rest of the 22 are personal friends of mine. And also I carry that, you know, I want to be the conduit for, like, Rachel Alejandro finally got her SAG-AFTRA card because of this film. Tony Labrusca got his first Hollywood film because of this. Rex
more
Navarrete,
Filipinos.
Fedelos Reyes. Yeah, yeah.
And tell us about your premiere here in the Philippines. Everyone is awaiting that Asian Persuasion is on Filipino silver screens.
Yeah,
Will all of the stars be here, like Paulo Montalban, Dante Basco, who are Filipino Americans?
Yes, Dante, Paulo, Kevin Kreider, actually, who's Korean, and Geneva Carr. They are all coming from New York and LA to be here. We will have a touring premiere. We will be on Mega Mall. That's our Philippine premiere, November 27. Cebu, November 29. December 1, my hometown, Iloilo.
Oh, okay, you're Ilonggo.
Ilongga, I'm Ilongga. December 2 is Bacolod, and December 5 is Clark, Pampanga.
What about in the US?
The US, I'll fly back to New York December 7th because we will release it in New York City December 8th.
And it will be seen in many states?
No, New York for now. This is the strategy that I'm applying as an independent filmmaker because there's certain qualification in order to be admitted to the big league. So I'm always following the rule.
Following the rules, taking it step by step
Yes.
towards stardom.
Yeah.
Jhett Tolentino, congratulations.
Maraming
And we
salamat.
wish you all the best. I hope you can be multiplied
I wish.
many times
I
over
wish.
and produce more Filipino films, Filipino-American films
Yeah.
for the global platform. Jhett Tolentino, Tony Award-winning Broadway producer and producer of Asian Persuasion. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word.